Lucratif. Helping startups stay up. Mill, making sure you're paid up. Describe the podcast is corporate.
Go for filming. Yeah, we're filming now. Let me turn this sound on. Let's get a bit back a bit.
Hopefully it doesn't tip. Basically it's using a gimbal and stabilizers, but yeah, if it does, it's fine.
Technology, lifestyle. Okay. Furthest I'll go is like, where did you grow up? You get me?
Mm-hmm.
Those kind of stuff. Anytime if you need to answer the door, all of that, we stop and start again.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? It's relaxed, natural. Yeah.
Cool.
So, first question is, no, joking. You know what? One thing I actually do want to start with. We've started, by the way, just for editing sake. We've started. All cameras. We've started. I want to know, how did it feel to receive an award, like a proper award, not a made-up award, like an accredited award, and you were wearing half a suit and half shorts? That's what I really want to know, because I feel like that's the kind of times we live in now. Literally, award shows are going to be online. You can literally wear what you want. But did you mention that when you were accepting it?
I actually did, because
I
mentioned it just as a joke, like literally, like I think it was this this top half of the suit was so tight. So I was like, and I know the trousers as well, and people have been gaining weight during lockdown and stuff.
Seriously?
So I was just like, you know what, let me be free at least in one part of the body which people aren't going to see. So the camera is going to point towards the top half. Literally. So it's cool that way, but
I feel like most people, especially now, if you're doing a job interview, you literally top half suit.
Just don't stand up.
Boxes. Don't stand up. Can you imagine that? You just go, I need to go quickly. And then it's like, can you imagine having a hole in the back of your boxes as well? Like, you just finished. But well done for the awards. You can see the awards there. You were trying to be humble, but I want you to take your flowers. These are your awards. You've earned them. You get me? These are what was it? It's for Southwark, and what was covering the awards? Who are the people giving the awards?
So it's an awarding body called Southwark Awards. So basically they award or they peer review all the businesses within the borough of Southwark. And based on specific criteria, they kind of like judge businesses and entrepreneurs based on that criteria. It was actually from a event I was invited to about a year ago, where they were actually promoting the awards to different businesses in the area.
Okay.
And then I remember after the event, I went there just to network, to get to know other business owners. But then, as I was leaving, there was a guy who, I don't even know who he was, it's like he said a word passing by saying, I think you guys should really enter. And I was like, okay. And I thought, all right, cool, let's enter for 2 categories, Entrepreneur of the Year and Best Social Enterprise. To my surprise, on the topic of you saying trying to be humble, I kind of was thinking, you know what, we're a business that's only been around for about a year and a bit. So let me enter us for awards we realistically can win. So I kind of put Entrepreneur of the Year and Best Social Enterprise. We won the Entrepreneur of the Year on the night, and then I was waiting for us to see if we'll win the Best Social Enterprise, and we didn't win. So I was like, okay, we won one, right? It's okay, cool. So I waited, just for courtesy and to be polite, to see what other awards we won on the night. And they were going to the main award, which is the Best Business, or just business period, not social business. And then they said our name. I was so shocked. So basically they didn't give us that award so they could give us the bigger one. So it's almost like how God works, where you try and put yourself down, but if He wants you to be in that position, you will still get it regardless.
And it's so funny that even like the whole aspect of your business, one thing I've learned from doing this whole YouTube channel, because obviously like I'm a pastor and I have the church thing, so this YouTube channel with the business and stuff I've always tried to make it separate, but I've realized that your beliefs and your faiths are always gonna like get into what you're doing. And I've seen you've done that with the Peace Ballers, Heaven Revolution, and all of that. And it's like, how did you feel like going into the business world as a Christian? Like, how is it something that you wanted to like keep separate, or did you always know that, you know what, I'm gonna be bold and say, you know what, this thing is kind of Christ-centered? If you get what I'm saying?
I suppose one thing, I have quite a different approach to most in terms of how I perceive what, you know, ministry is or the kingdom of God is. I have a wider, broader perspective. Often people, when they think of ministry, they think the traditional sense of we sing, then we preach,
Sunday,
we are boxed in on a Sunday kind of thing. Whereas my view is, you know, Jesus preached about the kingdom, and the kingdom has everything from sports, music, media, entertainment, politics. So everything I put my hands to is the ministry field. So I saw the business as a ministry field. Obviously I'm learning day by day how to navigate it and how to, I talk to every stakeholder different. So the employees, I talk to them a certain way. I tell them these are our values as a company. It doesn't necessarily mean that I'm only going to hire people from a particular background. I'll be diverse in how I hire, but as long as the people can commit to the values we put on the table, which are the kingdom values. And how that would look like in the real business world is, you know, for example, we operate with integrity. We won't ever undercut people on deals. We make sure we treat everybody the way we want to be treated. All of those things, and loving the people we encounter every day. And also around using our business model to fix specific problems we see in key industries like corruption, or for example, Peace Ballers. What we're planning to do is launch a football team in the new year, which has the aim to democratize football. What we mean is that there's a lot of opportunity at the top in terms of football. There's players earning astronomical figures, which is fine, you know, the money they make, they're, you know, giving it to the players, right? But there's not enough of that financial prosperity at the lower end of the spectrum. So what we're trying to do is pioneer a club that can actually punch above its weight and then inspire other grassroots clubs to also do the same.
And it's so funny that we've got onto that aspect, because I think it's a couple of months ago, a young man actually committed suicide because he got cut from, I think it's Manchester City. And I know a lot of the times we kind of make a joke about, you know, every young boy, his dream was to play football, and one way or another, you kind of might come to reality that you're not going to make it. I remember my one came from very early on from primary school. I was in a very small primary school. I was the third best player in the whole school, but we were very small. And then I went to a secondary school with a lot of people. Like, my dream ended the first day of secondary school. But you're dealing with a lot of young people in a place where they'll let us know that the crime rate is crazy. Now, how important is football to these young people?
So I think just casting my mind back to when I was young and around about their age, I only had one dream, and that was football.
Trust
you know, there was no. People would often say, "Plan B. What's the plan B? What's the plan B?"
No plan
and
B.
many of us, we have the mindset that no, this is it. If I don't become this, I don't want to become anything else. And what's wrong within the kind of like football world right now is there isn't much of a safety net for these players who don't make it. And it's a very brutal industry. It's focused around money, and if you're not here and we don't believe you can offer us the financial return we want, you know, we make the cold decision of just letting you go and fend for yourself. I think there is some scope for improvement. Some clubs are starting to try and put initiatives in place, but it's more of an afterthought rather than a central component of any academy program, which it should be in order for it to be effective as it needs to be.
So, like, what's the difference between a Peace Ballers and an Arsenal, or Peace Ballers and a Manchester United? Like, because, like you said, you're definitely going to have your Christian values in it, but it's like, what made a school like Harris Academy give you the trust, like entrust you with these young people to say that you're essentially raising them in a sense? Because I remember we looked up to our football coach. I can still remember his name. Actually, no, I can't, but I still remember. I still remember him, and he had a big impact on us. Like, he would speak to us, tell us, like, even back then we weren't even thinking about gangs, but he was early on getting on us, making sure that we're walking the straight line, making sure that we're focused in school. Like, so what does Peace Ballers do for these young guys?
So in terms of the distinction between other football clubs, I'll address that first, is we're not exclusively just focusing on developing our own set of players. So all our players come from different clubs. So essentially, we're like a club that is empowering other clubs as well as other players, no matter what team they come from. We bring them together and we teach them our football philosophy. And then as we develop them in that kind of like little community, we then say, all right, you're developed now as players and as people, and we send them out to their various clubs so that they can create impact within that club. So we're almost like a hub of influence where we teach players how the tagline is play like heaven. So we teach them the philosophy around that as players, and then we're like, all right, you've learned that at Peace Ballers. Now some of them play for Charlton, some of them play for Arsenal, Crystal Palace. We say, all right, now go there, and now spread that, make that go viral. Almost like embedding some sort of apostleship, discipleship into it, but within the world of football kind of thing. So that's what Peace Ballers is. It's not just...
Because I've seen some videos of sometimes you guys are even in classrooms as well, innit? And I was looking at, is it that you guys are teaching techniques, or like, so when you guys are in classrooms, what are you guys doing?
So we haven't been in classrooms for a while. I think it was in our last program we did that. But essentially what we do in a classroom is the preparatory work, where we prepare the ground, as in if we're teaching on confidence or discipline, we will teach them the fundamentals of it and why it's important to be able to achieve whatever their destiny is or their potential. And when we go on the football field, we use the football pitch as a metaphor for what we taught them. So it's almost like the practical element of the theory. So if we were to teach discipline on the field, we will use a ball control drill, for example, and say, all right, you stay within this set of cones, you stay right in the middle of a circle of cones, and we shoot the ball at you, you have to try and control it and stop it within the circle. If the ball goes out, we then stop the session and say, okay, what happened there? What happens is in life, sometimes things are shot at you, and they're trying to disrupt your discipline and to make you react. Now, your best reaction is to control and keep control of the situation. But yeah, so we're trying to draw on those analogies to teach these young people, because often we can have a lower attention span and not absorb everything in the classroom. So having that added dynamic of having people who learn maybe more in classroom settings, some people learn more on the pitch, converge it together, you teach them life-based lessons they'll never forget.
And were you surprised, like, the impact it had? Because is impact the right word? Because I saw a lot of young guys there, and it was like they were into it. And you know, especially the stereotype about young black males, especially in an area like Peckham, which they'll speak about that gang rate is so high. But you had a lot of guys that weren't chilling on the block, they were with you doing something productive. Were you surprised by that, or did you know? Because obviously we've done a lot of work in Peckham with evangelism and stuff before, and we've come across a lot of people that they would label as gang members and stuff. And here you are in the heart of Peckham, in a school, and you have young guys in a classroom, you have them on the field, and it's not just about kicking a ball back and forth, but they're actually learning something. Were you surprised by what happened?
I'll say it was kind of like part of our objective to really engage those types of young people. So a lot of them have been engaged in so many different things like drugs, gang violence, hanging around the wrong people. And the purpose of the program was always to get them disengaged from that and engaged into something more positive. So I think, I'm just really happy that, those young people are able to express themselves in positive ways in that forum we've given them, which if it wasn't there, that void is there, and then it leads to boredom, and then that's what leads to that gang involvement. So
what you're doing, how important is mentorship, in terms of you actually being their mentors? When it comes to someone like Peckham, I can really relate, because I grew up in Brixton all my life, and Brixton and Peckham is quite the same, and you even if somebody doesn't mentor you, you kind of take somebody as a mentor, you kind of just look at what they're doing and almost kind of copy what they're doing in a sense. I remember one of the episodes I was speaking about being in school and selling Lucratifs and crisp and that, and me and my friends were kind of doing it from a quote-unquote drug dealer's point of view, because that's all we knew what it meant to be an entrepreneur. What we saw them doing out there, we kind of emulated it in school. So now you're here as a positive role model. How important do you see your role, not just as a businessman, but as an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I think mentorship is absolutely key to helping the next generation to see what's possible. For example, reason why I was grateful to win, awards is that I think I was talking to someone else about this. Being an inspiration to the next generation by what you do, not just what you say, and them seeing somebody that looks like them winning that award that comes from the same area.
Trust me,
it really breaks a ceiling that they might have thought wasn't possible. It normalizes what I'm passionate about doing is, as an entrepreneur, is normalizing success in their eyes.
Right, I love that. I love that. No, seriously, I love that.
Yeah, and one of the ways we do that, we've done that in the past, is, for example, in the first project we did in 2019 in the summer, we took the kids to the Shard.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we took them to the Shard, and we made sure it was like the final celebration. Business pitch. They were to pitch their own business ideas as young people, and also we took them for like a meal, and we were debating on whether to take them to something they're familiar with, like TGI Friday, or take them to the Shard and have afternoon tea. And I opted to say no, take them to afternoon tea, because it's something they've never had before. It's something that would change the way they think, because they're used to TGI and the ribs and the Jack Daniels.
Stick to them. Sorry to cut you. I did a project in secondary school. It was a Dragon's Den project. We went to the HSBC headquarters, and we had to pitch them an idea. I took pictures there. I think in the end, I ended up going to 10 Downing Street. I met is it Gordon Brown at the time, who was Prime Minister? And he's like, bro, that has stuck with me. Even when I go to job interviews now, at my big age, I take that picture and I'm just like, yeah, this is what I've done in my life. And it's like, I get what you're saying, because a lot of the times, a lot of us, especially in areas like this, we are almost in a box. A lot of people don't know anything else but their area, but their hood, but their ends. That's all they know. If it's Peckham, that's all they know. And it's like, they don't know that there's life beyond that. They don't know there's life beyond their postcode, life beyond their area, life beyond their dreams, life beyond what they see all the time. So no, I rate that. That's true. I think that just got me excited. So
yeah, and I think that was an amazing experience for them. I think one thing is, it's not an easy thing to take people out from their natural known environment to a new environment, because I think there was some challenges with often behavior, and I think just to not romanticize the thought of doing it, there should be a realistic expectation that it takes time to transform somebody's mindset. And it takes you staying there for a while. It's not just about that one-off talk you came to the school to give and then you went somewhere else. It's about inhabiting there, waiting, getting to know the young person, invest in them, build a relationship so that they can even text you and call you at any time. One of the kids from the school we work in sent me a message the other day saying, can I work for you guys during the holidays and improve, put it on my CV. So you'll notice that there's so many things that will come as a result of you just deciding to help people. And if you can get even just one person, it'll be more than that, but if you can get just one person to be a success story, it then perpetuates because it keeps happening. And then what you want to do is create something that's intergenerational. It just keeps going. You first of all break the cycle of what's wrong, and then you create a new cycle of what's right.
100%. Now, Heaven Revolution, break it down for the people that don't know what it is exactly, like the whole movement of it.
So Heaven Revolution, short, as all people call it, short, just Heaven, is essentially a parent organization for a series of enterprises we're starting. So it's a parent organization whose aim is to solve the world's greatest problems through social and technological innovation. So technological innovation in the sense that we're using pioneering technologies like video, not just video conferencing, but also investing in stuff like artificial intelligence, data science, to really enhance how we can communicate through like streaming, for example, because I think a lot of what we're going to be doing is more digital than actually just going to places in person. So that's the technological side in a nutshell. And then there's the social side, which embeds the Christian values, as well as looking at whatever social systemic problems are existing today and are really prevalent in society, and thinking about how we can solve them. So that's what the overall aim is. And then what we do is set up businesses under that aim, such as Peace Ballers, such as Evo, and other companies we're in the process of setting up as well.
How did Evo come about? Because when I saw it, it's to do with streaming and music and stuff, and I was just like, bro, when is Zion going to get into like, the music side and the streaming side? So how did that get along?
So in the holidays when lockdown happened, Peace Ballers had to kind of like put a halt to all our activities, because what we do is contact sports, right? So the government put restrictions in place. We were thinking, all right, we're literally shut down as an organisation just because of this lockdown. How can we diversify and enable ourselves to generate revenue and become a club that can be financially sustainable and also help other clubs be financially sustainable? So we thought, let's develop some sort of live streaming service that enables those clubs that don't have big television contracts to generate ticket sales.
Okay.
So that's what we did, and then we realised, I sat with my team, and then we realised there's potential for not just football, like live events, music, arts and culture, worship, church services, all of these things in one platform. So there's a potentially huge market out there, which initially we were just thinking of solving a problem within ourselves, but then we're like, wait, hold on, this can help so many other people. So it's surprising how sometimes in the hardest situations where the most innovative ideas come from.
I think the best ideas come from times like this. You'll see a lot of companies that were born out of recessions in general. I know even something like Walt Disney as well came out of a recession. I was just like, it's crazy. I was telling, who was I was telling? I think I was telling Dan. I was just like, a business at this time, I don't think you should crumble. I think you should just think as far out of the box as you can. And if people say that, that doesn't make sense, then you've got a good idea. Because right now, nobody could have anticipated a pandemic or a lockdown. So you literally have to do what's never been done before, because we've never seen this. But yeah, I like that. We're definitely going to be jumping on that, and we're going to plug it in at the end. One thing, time's gone 22 minutes already done. One thing I really want to know is that all of these things that you're doing, you're a businessman, entrepreneur, all of that, but a lot of what you're doing is kind of like unselfish as well. What is like your background that makes you, okay, I know you're Christian, but like that's really pushed you to, do things that you're not just getting an income from, but you're actually affecting and building a community and building people. What, like your background, how did you grow? Who were your mentors? What did you see to make you actually care about doing things like this?
Yeah, I think there is a lot of, in terms of my personal background, things that I've gone through, which has led me to want to create solutions for people who are maybe going through the same thing. So one example within the football setting, why I started Peace Ballers, is I never saw a pathway to actually eventually become or reach your full potential in the professional football game. It was all very much who you knew, who you were connected to, very secret stuff happening, and you could never really, there was never a straight ladder to just get to where you need to get to, like with other professions. So I realized, I need to create something that enables players to be able to be showcased. If you notice, we're doing a recent series where we're spotlighting specific football players on our Instagram page. And that's with the aim so that we become a hub for other teams to be like, all right, we can go to Peace Ballers if we ever need players.
Okay.
So, and we showcase their stats so that people can see
that back in the day. Literally, you're right. I remember back when I was playing football, the only teams that you could really get a trial for was like Crystal Palace. If your coach knew somebody. That is needed. So in terms of, because I know you're Nigerian, were you born there?
No, I was born here, but then taken back there when I was a child, and then I stayed there for about 7 years and came back here when I was 7.
Do you remember life there?
But only fragments because it was very like brief. It was more of in the eyes of a kid, just playing around. I remember I used to tie strings to plastic bags and let it go in the air like a kite and make toy cars out of cigarette cartons. You know, little things like that. That's all I really remember. Because I haven't seen it with adult eyes. I do want to see it because I know there's a lot of things going on there right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. After everything's died down, but you definitely got do peak spoilers, Niger style. You get me?
Even my dad keeps asking me to do something up there, but I have to put that on hold until I establish everything here first.
No, it's true, but big man things. As your boy, I'm proper proud of everything that you're doing. Especially from the beginning, I was just like, no, I need to get you on the podcast because I feel like you can really relate to the kind of people that we want to reach at the podcast. Because I remember, like I said, it's all about mentorship. It's all about being able to change somebody's point of view to see that, you know what, you can be a young guy from south, east, northwest. You can grow up in a bad area. You can grow up in a place where it's maybe the stats don't lean positively to your side, but you can still make something out of your life. I know that you're a testament of that. You grew up in Hackney, innit? Yeah, we all know about Hackney, the area. Obviously, don't be offended if you're from Hackney. It's like Brixton, it's like Peckham, it's like all of these places, but you actually decided to take a positive turn as an entrepreneur. You get me? Your flowers are here. You get me? Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. You get what I'm trying to say? So you've done it, and only a year in. So well done to you.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Is there anything particularly you want to plug, your social medias and all of that?
I'd say so. If anyone who's kind of like wanting to organize like events, and often the way people are doing it right now is either they use Eventbrite. And then they share a Zoom link. Sometimes the link is shared with the wrong people and it's almost hard to monetize what you're trying to do effectively. They can register their interest with Evo. If they just search Evo UK or Evo, evoe.co.uk, they'll be able to register their interest and download the app when it comes out in the new year. If they want to check out what we do at Peace Ballers, any football players, just type Peace Ballers, Instagram, any social media outlet, we're there. Heaven Revolution, just type heaven-revolution.com to find out more about what we're doing there too. So yeah.
No, that's great. And we're even Lucrative. We're having an event around March next year. It's a speed pitching event. So we're definitely going to get you guys involved in that as well. It's just an event for startups to come and pitch their ideas to investors. Just trying to make it a bit fun as well. You know, shed a new light on kind of a Dragon's Den idea as well. So we're definitely going to get you guys involved as well. Thank you for coming onto the show. I'm in your crib today. Thank you for coming on. This is the Make It Lucrative podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. You know it is Lucrative, helping startups stay up. Meal, making sure you're paid up. This rap the podcast is cool. Listen, this podcast lifestyle is easy. I'm gonna let you know for a bit because I like to get off the thing. But bro, you're doing a lot, man. You're tinging a joke. I won't even lie, big man things. You're tinging a joke. Obviously, this is what you call the off-cast. You get me? Bro, but no, you're tinging a joke. But you're pushing, bro.
I mean.